Drivers, as we're into the early laps of today's race. Not even 2 laps in and we're already seeing quite the fight for first place already. McMurray and Ware just duking it out at the moment. Most of the championship Final Four are just kind of hanging up front so far, although it would appear that Truex Jr., who's subbing for Allmendinger in that 11 car, is hanging further back. So, peculiar, but, you know, not uncommon. Probably going for a late race run type strategy, as you'll see a lot of guys do at this type of track. To just kind of take it easy for a while, let everybody else wear themselves out, and then just go ahead and give it your all in the last stretch. Well, it didn't take long for Ware to lose his lead. McMurray, already your current race leader. We're slowly making a comeback as Stewart is right on the bumper of 14, trying to put some heat down. Stewart's going to go low and try to go for the pass, clean past the 14. We're not too wide again as Ware gets up there. That shove out of line sent McMurray pretty far back. Not too far back, but still enough to be mildly concerning for the first few laps of the race. Nothing too crazy yet, though. You see Truex further back here. Still just kind of clinging on to the back half of the front pack. Fairly consistent lines taken throughout the entire field, throughout most of the backstretch. Everybody kind of going mid to low on the backstretch, ironically, and then shooting up high for the corner. As for non-playoff drivers, Sadler and Ware get connected. Heavy contact with no damage or spins for either driver. Crisis averted, honestly. That could have been really bad. As I was saying, in terms of non-playoff drivers, and playoff drivers, Everton and Childress Racing is still primarily dominant throughout basically the beginning of really every race, and usually it only dwindles slightly throughout the duration of the race, and today's championship event shows it's no different here at Charlotte, even under these mistakes. As for our playoff drivers, it seems right now it's just Ware and Stewart pretty much just duking it out. Updated paint jobs for all playoff drivers, as well as featuring a yellow splitter, roof rails, spoiler, and banners for each of those, making them slightly easier to identify in this pack of cars. Haven't seen too much action from most of the Tri Motorsport cars, but this season. But you know, now they're at the last race of the season, they're kind of picking it up. A lot of these non-playoff drivers are still trying to pick up points and still trying to finish their season off strong. Both Kenseth and Biffle further up here, just kind of hanging out. We're still just kind of tagging right along with Stewart. They are teammates, and usually they would be working together, but this isn't quite the same this time. It's pretty unusual to see two drivers from the same racing team in the playoffs. And, I mean, seeing how dominant of a performance both of these drivers have had all season, it's really no surprise. But it's definitely something you wouldn't see generally. Most of the cars starting to thin out. Surprised we haven't had a caution yet, to be honest. Because we're already, what are we? We're 20% of the way through the race, actually. 20 laps in, we should start seeing pit stops within the next 10 fit. Oh, okay, I spoke a little late. It seems we're already hitting pit stops. And we'll be seeing pit stops about every so often, so just to do a little Larry McReynolds guesstimate of our pit schedules and windows is generally about every 20 laps-ish. We should see a lot of drivers starting to come into pit, as you're seeing right here. This is definitely going to shake up the field a lot, because a lot of pitting this early is going to create tons of lap traffic way sooner than you would usually see, which is going to pose a huge challenge to these playoff drivers who are going to have to navigate through that and just not have that clean air available that they would usually use to their advantage. It seems all four playoff drivers are in fact contact, and the 4 just slams it, or 14 slams right into the 11 coming into pit. Oh, first off of pit road is going to be Oh, no, it's going to be Stewart, then Castroneves. Pretty close, actually. But yeah, most of these playoffs drivers all pitting around the same time won't separate them as far as you would usually expect these guys to get separated during pit stops. But it's still going to be enough to be problematic for the cars who just weren't quite there fast enough to catch up to the leaders. And it's just going to make anybody who's not in first have to work much harder than they would if it was any other race in the season, playoffs or not. Stewart is still being super dominant in this race. Let's see, Stewart is currently second, trying to catch up to Kenseth in that 8 car, who I'm guessing hasn't pitted yet or pitted very early. Didn't quite catch which of those it was, but whatever it was, it's working out for the 8 car. See, where are the rest of our playoff contenders? Here's Ware. They're chilling around 10th. Now, while lap traffic can also can be an obstacle and tend to block drivers on the lead lap or uh, drivers in championship contention, you can also use lap traffic to your advantage and use draft off of them to kind of slingshot your way past it and almost use them as like stepping stones to kind of work your way faster through the field as long as you can get up to them. And I'm going to imagine that's what Ware's going to be trying to do the next stretch of laps until we have a caution, which inevitably will come. Now, fairly early in the season, right before playoffs, we were at a track called 8 Bull Night, and it is a figure 8 super speedway without an intersection, and there was a pretty nasty wreck about halfway through that rendered both Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards injured and could not compete for the rest of the season. Now, the good thing for both of those drivers is, or both of those teams and car teams, crews, both of the relief drivers for either team were both pretty dominant for the rest of the season. Most notably, Cody Ware here made it to the final four just after basically just being recruited for 3 races, and Everton Childress Racing basically saying, hey, we want you to finish the rest of the season for us. And here we are, and for all we know, Ware might get his full championship here, or first championship. Now, unfortunately, the last weekend's race, that's that being Watkins Glen, or apologies, not Watkins Glen, Talladega. So 2 weekends ago, we had a pretty nasty incident regarding AJ Allmendinger. Rendered him injured for this race. And so Martin Truex Jr. is being basically transferred to the 11, and Kyle Busch is being brought in to sub for the 78, rather than, just, yeah. So, early in Cody Ware's, within the first couple starts of Cody Ware, his races this season, he's been kind of hanging around the top 15, 10 for the first few races, and I don't know what happened, but something in that 3 team just kind of clicks after a few races, and they just pure dominance throughout the rest of the season, really. Racking up over about 5 wins, I believe. And pretty much finishing top 3 for every other, with an exception of a wreck or 2. But that's kind of inevitable. You always have bad days where things out of your control just happen to go wrong. You can't really do anything about it except just get back up again and keep swinging. And that 3 car is swinging harder than ever. The only kind of, I guess, deal there had to be with putting Ware in the 3 car is that his binding contract with Chevrolet had to lead to the 3 car being switched from a Toyota to a Chevy. And so, if you were curious about that, that is the explanation. So, as for Martin Truex here, slight update in paint scheme, as you see. Nothing too crazy. New sponsor on board. We got Kroger. That being an homage to AJ Allmendinger's first few rides with JTG Daughtery back in the day. Back in the day of 2016. Hey. Trick still taking a rather relaxed approach to the race thus far, as we're starting to near the second pit stop window, as we're 38 laps in. Stewart continues to dominate the lead, but Ware isn't actually all that far behind. Only about 2 seconds, but we've seen Ware at Charlotte before, and we know what he can do. But I'd be watching out for the 11 car. Now, granted, it isn't AJ Allmendinger. It is still a fairly competitive driver who was in the car that beat Ware here earlier in the season on a last lap pass. Really excited and very enthusiastic. Can't talk. Enthusiastic to see how this race is going to play out later in the late long runs. Once again, here come our first rounds of pit stops. Same few drivers again. Kenseth and Zanstra. Oh, Michael Waltrip's already in and out of the pits. Now, in one of the other races here this season, because we've had multiple, just because to put it frankly, we just love Charlotte, and we seriously love racing here. And one of these great occasions this season, we've had the pleasure of watching another battle regarding the 3 car, but this time with the one of Tony Stewart, who actually created the closest difference in 1-2 finishing cars in the Circle K Cup Series history. I believe it was 2 thousandths of a second. That you can't really comprehend how fast that is. But we'll see. This it's looking pretty promising for Stewart. This last round of pit stops is really giving him quite the gap to put on the 3 car of Ware. The only other Final 4 car that's kind of even close to being up there. There's only 2 playoff cars in the top 10 at the moment. More of the Red Bull racing cars working together. This time Allison and Truex Jr. Let's go ahead and take a look at where the 14 Jimmy McMurray is. Hey. Not looking super promising for the 14 car at the moment. Had a super rough season, pretty much pretty rough race basically all season, every race. But somehow, some way, has been able to find that slight edge of speed he's needed that's going to be able to keep him in the playoffs all the way to the Final Four. However, at the moment, that speed's just not there, as currently sits 27th. It's not really where he wants to be when there's already only 52 laps in. We're halfway through this race, and we've somehow made it through half the race caution free, which is a genuine shocker. Seriously expecting way more incidents between lap traffic and lead lap cars, but once again, it's just not the case this time. I think something that has to do with that is looking back at the past few races here. Pretty much guaranteed within the first 10-15 laps, absolute latest, we always have a big one right on the front stretch, about 5-10 laps in, and these drivers just don't want to take any chances, because it's just nobody can really get stopped here all that well. Unfortunately, it's not vehicle error, and it's not mechanical error, and it's not driver error. It's just kind of how it is, to put it lightly, or put it short, I guess. But it's frankly problematic, and these drivers don't really want to risk anything, because something as simple as a spin out or dumping another car could very easily just result in just pure chaos within seconds, really. Now, another issue we've saw here the past couple times we're not seeing here this time is drivers clipping the wall coming out of 2. A lot of drivers were coming really high out of 2 and just kind of getting into the wall a bit. See, drivers like Castroneves right there would run really high like that, but wouldn't quite come low enough in time to avoid the wall. Again, drivers are way more reserved at this race. Ironically, it being the championship race where you expect them to go all out, but no, they're reserved. They're preserving their cars. They're making sure they have a machine that will get them to the end. Especially these playoff guys who just absolutely need this thing to make it to the end to have a shot at the championship. Stewart's still super dominant, as Ware's made his way up to the 3rd, I guess? Yeah, 3rd. Those are lapped cars there. Ware's going to have to try to use Crafton and... who is that? Paddle Ward? Yep. Use Crafton and Paddle Ward to kind of slingshot himself up to the 15-1. That's exactly what he's doing. He's getting right up in there in their tandem draft. He's going to cut in line there, right in front of Paddle Ward, just kind of making his way through a tiny draft train, like we said, to get that extra slingshot speed to catch the 15-1. That 2.5 second gap Tony had on Cody is it's just not going to be there much longer. Ware has the speed to catch back up to him, and he knows it. He's going for it already. Definitely not a bad move to just try to get up to the front pack within the last third of the race and just kind of hang back or hang up in the front as much as you can to avoid getting left behind, and just, you know, still maintain a fighting chance as well as you can. Different strategies with Truex and McMurray, but possibly not the smartest or most effective strategy we're seeing here tonight. But these guys did enough things right to get here to the Final Four, so we're just gonna have to stick it out and see what they've got in store for us, because it's it's not, it's kind of a wild card. You don't really know because, again, like we said before, this place just kind of throws wrecks at you randomly. So we'll kind of have to see if that is going to be the case tonight, or if it's going to actually act like a speedway rather than a super speedway for once. This thing about Charlotte, it likes to pretend it's a super speedway. Just, all predictions just go out the window because somewhere somebody went down a tire in turn 2 and now there's a giant pile up on the backstretch. But you know, that's racing. That's just part of the sport. That's just what you gotta look out for, especially as a championship contender like Ware, who's just doing a really good job of getting back up to that one car. Down to only a 0.3 second gap. Or apologies, it was a 0.3 second gap. Now a 1.3 second gap. No cars now in between the 3 and the 1. However, we are at the next pit window. Ooh, real sideways coming into the pit, trying to get slowed down. Getting slowed down to the pits that late is really risky because you're doing about 190 in that corner, and you're lucky if you're able to get slowed down from turn 3, let alone starting on the backstretch to get slowed down. And now for the pit crews to do their part of the race. And there's McMurray. Stewart's out first. Right in tow is Ware. As they come back out to rejoin traffic. Well, Kyle Busch is your current leader at the moment. However, just coming out of the pits not gonna help. Park current leader possibly. Won't know until after a few laps for the black boxes and the cars to update. Give us a better idea of where people are. Ware happens to be in 4th. Right behind Waltrip and Zanstra. Right in tow of Stewart. Alrighty. Y'all have spoken and y'all will receive. We're gonna make things a little spicy for the last 30 laps. Championship 4 order at that time, at the time of this stage break. First, obviously, it would be Tony Stewart. Right? Been dominant the whole race. Not really letting up at all, not showing any sign of letting up. And then, of course, Cody Ware starts off really strong, but unfortunately, one of Ware's biggest weaknesses is he kind of needs another car to run with to be good. He can be good on his own, and usually he is, but it's just regular speedways Like 1.5 mile tracks just aren't quite his bread and butter that he needs to just dominate like he does at road courses and super speedways. It's just not how. It's just not what he does, unfortunately. As for Truex, we can't really compare a whole lot. He's driving like he usually did in the 78, still kind of midfield. Unfortunately, it's not quite paying off for the 78 team or the 11 team. McMurray's just had a hell of a rough race, just flat out. And now we have a slight break, and we'll be back within 1-2 minutes. And yeah, we'll see you then. And now we return as we start the pace for the last section of tonight's race. Now, Stewart has chosen to take the outside lane for this restart. And most of the field has been bunched up. Mild shuffle throughout the rest of the non-playoff drivers. Nothing too major. Hopefully we'll make the last 40 laps like no other. Whether or not this is going to be a total wreck fest, and this is just going to be all caution laps, we don't know. But we're going to find out. Hopefully the answer is no and we can get some good racing. However, it would be entertaining. Pace cars off, we're up to the front stretch, and we're green once more at Charlotte. All four championship drivers still just right on each other. Oh, Truex going for the lead. Stewart in the wall. Oh, and they're wrecking in the back. All playoff drivers still are intact, though. Truex and Ware completely unscathed. McMurray and Stewart in the wall, however. That's creating issues. Caution out. Yikes. Heavy right side damage to Stewart. That's going to create issues for the one team. All the way back in 13th from 4th or 5th. Yeah, 5th. At the time of incident. That's going to affect a lot of the playoff implications thus far. And just to clarify, this race, you get for the playoff driver, it's just based off of the highest finishing playoff driver. This race is considered champion. No other points from before this race this season are at all counted. So let's go ahead and take a look at what happened. Yikes. What did I do? You did not see anything. So Newman gets sideways, plows Menard, sends him out. Just tons of traffic just slamming into him, and it appears there was further issue up here. Yep, Benson and Biff will get into it. Wimmer and Benson just slam the wall hard. Collects the 19 of Pat Award, as well as Dick Trickle, creating huge contact. Still collecting more drivers. Petty's in it. Yikes. Pat Award still coming off the pits. Current race leader would be Zandstrom, the 15. Current playoff leader, of course, is Truex in the 11. Fill in for Allmendinger. Not far behind remains Cody Ware. Not really sure what Marco Andretti is doing in the 3rd position, because he's technically in 37th. Yeah, I think he's going to go line up at the rear of the field now, or, you know, just pretend to be in 2nd. Not really sure what is going on there, but we'll just ignore that. As for McMurray, honestly got off really lucky after contact with the wall and a couple other cars during that. Managed to basically get out of that completely unscathed. Comes Pat Award to reclaim his position. The only car from the incident that has been garaged so far would be Richard Petty in that 37 STP car, or with major exhaust system failure, which is rendering his vehicle inoperable for the remainder of this race. Pace car is off, and we go green once more. With, I guess these cars are on the Lucky Dog or something. Regardless, they're being just absolutely dusted. Ware wants his position back. He wants his lead back. Now side by side with Truex Jr. going down the front straight, dive bombing into the corner, and it works, shoving the 11 car out of the way, leaving just the 15 car to get by. Yikes. Not really sure where Stewart is. Oh, looking pretty squirrely back here. Oh, 3 wide. There goes Kane. Oh, Kane's on the wall. He saves it. Oh, there's Stewart. Way far back. Finally repaired. He's got 33 laps to get back up front and try again for the championship. He's going to have to fight his way through all these slower cars, which the only real risk to doing so is just not getting wrecked, really. We see most of these guys is trying to get 3 wide further back in the pack, and we know that doesn't work. We saw already 2 fairly notable incidents where there have been cars heavily damaged just by being 3 wide, you know. Look at Scott Wimmer up there in that 26 car, looking like a wheel and modified, no nose or hood on that thing. Serious damage to all of that car. Trickle over there. None of the back of that car's just gone. It's really a minefield to get through. Truex, some reason, is shot pretty far back. However, McMurray is now our second place contender for the championship. Ware still just dominating with Castroneves not far behind. Looking real promising for that 3 team, but 14 car still has enough speed to say no. Oh, we're 3 wide back here at the back of the front pack, and that unraveled very quickly. I'm sure these guys already know that that's really not a good idea to do mid-corner. Yep. 418 and 29 just backing off of that 3 wide stretch real fast. Going back to our mid-pack. Not super tightly knit, but still solid runs from each driver. Regardless of damage, here being Exhibit A, Newman, back of that thing completely tore off. No, not even a spoiler on the back of that car. Still just keeping up fine with all these cars. Stewart made his way up to 31st. Still has 30 cars to get by in 26 laps. Looking real bleak for the 1 car this season, unfortunately. That first caution of the second, or that early stage incident is just killing that 1 car, and pretty much all hopes and dreams that team had of getting the championship just down the drain. Just stomped down the drain. Something would have to go horribly wrong up front to give that 1 car a fighting chance, if we're being perfectly honest. It's just the 3, the 14, the 11, they're just too dominant right now. I mean, the 1 is usually as well, but when you have these super fast cars that are just undamaged, just basically all working together. They're all on a draft train together. They're all pushing each other. They're all pulling each other. It's just too much for cars in the back of the pack to be able to handle. And of course, when you have cars that are equally fast, you'll slightly get an edge from drafts. And you'll end up right on each other like you see here with the 11 and the 46, and you're going to start having bump drafts. And that's yet another thing that can go wrong and create pretty nasty wrecks, as we've seen in the past, especially at Haugabon. But I digress. These drivers are beginning to let up on each other for the time being, deciding to wait a little longer before they kill each other, which of course is inevitable to the championship race at Charlotte with 20 to go. By the way, we should be hitting another. Oh, huge wreck. Where's in it? Oh, where's rolled? Oh no! McMurray and Ware in that horrid wreck. Not at all what we want to see. Oh, that's quite the turn of events. We'll be right back, folks. Now let's take a look at what happened. Oh, the three trying to go back down to go to the pits. Fortunately, he gets shot back up into traffic after basically bouncing off of the apron. Just hit at the complete wrong angle and just tumbles down the front stretch. So is Bush in that 78 car, just absolutely plowed. Stewart's in it. McMurray was in that. I think that right now Truex Jr. is the only playoff driver that wasn't in that. And that's exactly that. Not really sure what to say about this. I mean, we have 4 playoff drivers, and basically 3 of them just got wiped out. I think we have to do something about this. Now, I can't really say that we can entirely blame that on Cody Ware. Now, yes, Ware was the main car that took most of the beating in that wreck, but the main issue, I believe, was other cars not checking up when the 3 was going to pit. That, of course, is big issue. Stewart's car somehow isn't done for the day, despite looking like a toaster that's just been run over by a semi-truck. McMurray's already out from repairs. Don't know where the 3 is. The 3's probably out. Yeah, 3's out. 3 cars are out. Now, there is an option we can do regarding this. Pretty awful upset. Now let's get Chat's opinion on this, all right? One way we can go about this is to take our playoff contention drivers and put them in a 4-car, 10-lap shootout at the conclusion of the checkered here, and then that will be our contention. We're going to go green once more to finish this stage. Whether or not you guys would like that or not is up to you. If you guys want another fair, even shot without 75% of our playoff drivers getting smoked all at once, up to y'all. Really big pack here already. Oh, super tight pack that McMurray's right there. Clenching every muscle just watching this. Somehow not wrecking. By some miracle. Oh, Truex had to come in for pit, because Truex hadn't been able to pit yet. Let's see, give it a few laps and we'll see where each driver is. Because currently at the moment, lead playoff driver is McMurray. Pure heartbreak for the 3 team. One car still just ton of damage. Just all ECR contenders just pancaked. Steve Park's our current race leader, actually. McMurray not terribly far behind. Oh, huge wreck! Oh, okay. Who is that? Oh, okay. I guess we'll never know. 8 laps remaining, another huge wreck last second. Let's go ahead and take, try to figure out what happened there. Main drivers involved in this incident would be Biffle and Bush, actually. Up, and yep, Bush trying to go down to pit and gets blasted by another car that's trying to, you know, also come down to pit, I'd imagine. Stewart. Pain. We might finish under... How about this? If we finish under green, white, checker, we will definitely have a shootout then. Because the green, white checker is a pretty crappy way to end a finale, if you ask me. But once again, people decide. What if we had a full field, or just playoff drivers? Just very quick, like 10-lap shootout around Charlotte. Alright, 4 laps to go. Whether or not the whole field dies again is definitely up for debate. McMurray's pretty much passed the entire pack, which is basically just going to guarantee him his spot in the championship, as there's only 4 laps to go. Truex just has no chance of getting through this pack, unscathed at least. Just no chance. Stewart still thinks he can pit, apparently. Not sure what's happening, but something's happening. That's white flag in the air. McMurray's still out in front, assuming Allison doesn't wreck him or anything stupid like that. McMurray will more than likely be your Season 5 championship winner. There you have it. Devastating end for Everton Childress Racing. Oy. I just want to watch the Ware incident once more. Just real quick. What was it that really killed Ware? We're gonna watch a slow-mo. What is the reason behind Ware getting blasted to the moon? At this point in time, Ware is going low so he can enter the pits. He was already fairly low to begin with. Waltrip is barely higher than him right now. And still, Waltrip clears him. Because you know why? He knows he's pitting and goes high. We'll see here Ware getting ready to make his departure onto the apron at 160 miles per hour. This is a super difficult pit entry to get to at these speeds. Car teeters, loses traction, slides back up into the track a tad. Oh, front slides back up. Castroneves just right there. Shepard right there. McMurray as well. Head-on impact between the 3 and the 14. 3 slides further back up into traffic again, only to get hit by the 13 and the 23 and the 14 again. And the rest is history. Still fairly minor damage at this point to the 14, but by this point, the 3 is just gone. Man, absolute devastation. That is going to conclude your Season 5 of the Circle K Cup Series. This genuinely has been one of the coolest projects I've worked on in a while, and I'm really glad I've had the chance to do it. I had fun painting these cars, I had fun racing these cars, and I had fun wrecking these cars, except for right then, where my tried and true best driver, got Thanos snapped, but we'll talk about that later. Or never, because I don't want to think about it. Regardless, Jimmy McMurray is your confirmed Season 5 champ. Truex is very close, but no cigar. Unfortunately, that last pack at the end just destroyed any chance that car had at, winning. We look forward to Season 6, as we hope you do as well. Next season, we'll say goodbye to the Gen 6 cars for forever, really. As we'll take a step backwards in time to check out the Gen 4 cars and take those high-speed bubbles to even more tracks this time with an extended schedule. We'll have more manufacturers rather than just the traditional Chevy, Toyota, Ford, Dodge. We'll be seeing customs. Another change next season you can look out for will be limited drivers per team, so only 4 drivers per team. This season, it was basically just whatever the teams wanted. There were so many drivers for each team. It was hard to keep track of, but and it's going to be much easier this season. Season 6 we'll post more of the races. We'll just take raw Discord race footage and just slap that on here. And just overall have better coverage of races and better media presence. We'll see. I think that pretty much covers all of the major changes next season. Just good to have you guys this season, and we'll see you back on the track October 16th. See ya.